We sat down with our first graduating class from the Plastics Technology and Engineering Certificate Program to get their feedback on this new education initiative. Here's what the students had to say.
With this program, unlike any other class I've ever been in, you're in a group of like-minded professionals. So whenever you have ideas, those ideas turn into more discussion. So you may have an idea of something simple about plastic flow. Well, someone has an experience with something else, and that turns into a real learning experience. So that's kind of an interesting aspect of it.
So the best part about the program for me, being an alumni of the Plastics Engineering program at Penn State, is I'm really able to refresh my memory on most of the material that was learned.
What I like most about the program so far is just all the things I've learned that I had no idea that I was going to learn when I came here at first. Just different ways to do things I can bring back to work, kind of change the way everybody thinks at work.
I think the accountability of the students. Other places you'll go and you'll be there for a set amount of time, and as long as you sit there and hear the training, you've gone through it and you get your certificate. Here, we're required to go through and do our weekly assignments to make sure that we're actually retaining the knowledge. So I think in the long run, we'll have a better understanding of all the material that we covered because we've gone through it week over week in the assignments that we do in the online meetings.
Open line of communication, that's the big deal with this. I couldn't take a training course in the past and then contact the instructor a day later. Like, hey, I ran into a problem. Matter of fact, some of them didn't even leave cards, So these guys I can email, I can text, I can call, and so if I have a problem tomorrow, I know that Dave Hoffman or John Beaumont is going to be ready to help me out.
The volume that it gives you, it's not just one area, it gives you an overview of all of the areas, from materials to the mold build, and then processing, and then even into the part design.
Well, I think other programs, they kind of, you go to it, 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever it is, boom, you're done. That's it. There's no building on what they taught you. Like here, you come in, you come for a week, you go back, kind of mull it over yourself, and then you go into your WebEx classes and they just kind of build upon everything they taught you, and it really helps sink in.
They're doing a really good job of making it work for any type of work in the plastics industry. You don't have to be a processor, you don't have to be in the quality department. They're showing you how all of these things tie together. And so it doesn't matter what line of work you come from. If plastics is your industry, anywhere from plastics, then this will work for you.
You're just coming into plastics like I was. I don't have a background in plastics, haven't been in plastics very long. So to get into this, it really helps give you a good foundation, to build on versus, taking 5 or 6 different classes and trying to, mesh them together. It's already done for you.
I can better communicate what I'm doing as a mold designer in the tooling industry to people who work in the plastics, processors, project managers. I can take these things and I have a better way to communicate now, technically, to these people and say, hey, look, the reason I'm doing this is because of this or this. And now they can say, well, oh, there's really a reason behind this. They don't go, well, that's just what this guy's been doing forever. They can say, okay, this thought process has gone through it. These are the reasons why.
We're currently fighting really hard to get a job to run for a company that we mold for. And I've actually contacted Dave, and I've talked to John a couple times about some of the specific problems that we're having. And as a result of that, I was able to step up at work, and I'm being offered a higher position as a result of it.
When it came to Mike was pretty much a genius in what he knew. He's the plastics man, I guess you'd say. Anything you could ever know about plastics, he knows on the top of his head, doesn't even have to reference a book or anything. John Beaumont is just such a well-known name in the industry that, it's kind of an honor, I guess, just to be able to be taught by him, just to be able to say, this is who my instructor was and this is what we learned. And
from the instructors, just the fact that they can use their own personal experiences when they were in the industry and be able to apply it to the class. The fact that they're accessible, I mean, you can send them an email and they'll email you right back. Mike Seppi was actually on a plane and got into the airport and was like, oh, just got off a plane, here's the answer to your question, which was really nice, But then, with Dave, I mean, me being from, Erie, just being able to stop over and say, hey, I got a question about this particular area, and then they can sit down and go over it again with you, really made it, easy to try to get through, the class, because it's not an easy, certificate program to get through, but I mean, they're dedicated to pulling you along and making you succeed.
I was a little starstruck when I walked in and saw the name tags on the table because, I read articles online and magazines and they're big names, they're the big names in the industry, and so at first it was a little intimidating, but like I said, they're real people, and they have tons of experience and they all have great stories and specific instances, and they all bring their unique area to the table, and it made it really interesting to be able to get 30 years of stories from somebody that's an expert in the field,
So some of the different instructors that we get to learn from are some of the most respected guys within their focus in the plastics industry. So we get to learn the material side of things from Mike Seppi, processing from John Bazzelli, and obviously we get to learn from Dave and John, Mr. Beaumont as well, which has been great because anywhere you go within the plastics industry, it really is a small industry, and these are very well-known names. So, from Pennsylvania out to California, when you mentioned that those were the people that you've gotten a chance to learn under, people recognize those names. So I think it gives the AIM Institute a little bit more validity in the entire program.
For more information on the AIM Institute's Plastics Technology and Engineering Certificate Program or any of our other courses, please visit our website at aim.institute.